Good morning. Hi, we're live. All right. So, house sitting has not only meant that I got to, you know, get free accommodation, but it meant that I got to leave the United States when I had very little money. I have not lived in the United States since September of 2015. And a good portion of that time, I supported myself through like little odd and ends ways to make money because being a virtual assistant and doing some online tutoring of people in English, because I always had a free place to stay. Being a house sitter and pet sitter around the world means I always have a free place to stay. And it means that I get to leave the United States, or I got to leave the United States and be free out in the world, be free of what the United States was doing to me, right? Free myself from that and be a free person, live as a free person all over the world. So, welcome. I was like on time. And listen, I have a lot to explain this morning. So, give me just a second to explain. I always get comments that say, you don't get to the point fast enough. Listen, just forward past 2 more minutes if you don't want to hear my explanations of things. In the comment, I was like, listen, I'm 500 videos in. I'm not going to change. Don't expect me to change. Find somebody who does it the way you like it. Okay. Good morning. My name is Stephanie Perry. I'm a house sitter. I'm the creator of House Sitter School. I'm the co creator of Exodus Summit. And I help Black women take sabbaticals or career breaks, bop around the world as a nomad, move abroad while embracing ease. If these things sound good to you, hit the subscribe button, please. I'll drink some water while you do that. Thank you. And then turn on notifications. Please ring the notification bell and you'll be notified when I post a new video or when I go live with my friends. Hi, friends. Hello, Kat from Rebloom Room. Good morning. Know before you go. Good morning, Zawadi and Michelle and Catherine and Yvette. How's everybody? Good morning, Traveling Light. Westy Katie. Okay. If you've already joined, it's too late. Don't worry. Okay. Don't worry. Good morning, Wanda and Gillian, unless you use my link. Good morning, Margaret, Girls Gap Girl. Good morning, Ladybug77. So I'm still in Bogota, Colombia, and I'm in the process of looking for an apartment, right? Instead of staying in a Verbo or Airbnb for longer, I'm now in a co-living house. I'm now staying in a house. I'm sharing a house with at least 6 people. I have my own bedroom and bathroom and suite bathroom right there. I'm pointing in case you're interested where it is. uh, when I picked rooms, I picked the last available room with an ensuite bathroom, which means I ended up in a room with Martin Luther King Jr. posters. There's two. There's one over here too. It says King's 2020 vision, the beloved community, the fierce urgency of now. So I was like, okay, this is a room for me. So I'm going to try to block the poster with my head, mostly because I think it's a little strange. I don't know. Is it strange? I don't know. So I'm going to keep my hair in front of the one of the paintings for now. Also, I feel like I need to explain why I'm sweating in Bogota when it's only like 60 degrees outside. It's because I'm on the third floor, and at the last minute, I realized I didn't have any water. And menopause and dry mouth means I'm drinking water constantly. So I had to go downstairs and up at 9 o'clock. I'm supposed to be live at 9 o'clock, and I'm doing this at 9 o'clock at 9:01. I'm not at an age where I should be running up and down 3 flights of steps. So that little bit, helped made me, when my hair is damp, a funny thing, when my hair is damp, I sweat faster. So my hair is already super damp because I ran it under the shower this morning. I didn't really wash it, but I did run it under the shower. So damp hair plus running up and down 3 flights of steps means I started out sweaty when it's not hot here. It's not hot here, I promise you. Come visit. It's not hot. Okay, so house sitting. I'm wearing a sweater because in Bogota, Colombia, the high most days is like 65 and it's 9 a.m., right? So it's 50 something degrees. I have the window open. I like fresh air. I have the window open. It's only 50 some degrees outside. So it's good sweater weather. Now, if you trust the Bogotans, it's coat weather. They be out here wearing coats. I'm like, girl, it's 65. You don't need a bubble. I saw one yesterday. Bubble jacket, down jacket, coat, bubble coat, all the way to her ankles, fully zipped up. I'm like, girl, it's 65 degrees. Nobody needs a coat when it's 65, but to Colombians, this is freezing. Okay, so let's talk house sitting. House sitting is staying in people's homes and taking care of their homes and their pets while they're away. Most house sits are pet sits. I've been house sitting since 2018. I'm not sure if I did 2018 with Trusted House Sitters, and I've already linked in the description of this video to Trusted House Sitters for you to sign up. If you want to use my sign up link, I would appreciate that. Thank you. And I've linked to it in the description. I'll link to it here in the chat right now. Trusted House Sitters is a platform for people who need house sitters and for people who need house sits. It's a platform, just like you would expect, where people say, I need a house sitter for these dates. And house sitters are like, oh, I'm interested, or oh, I'm not interested. There is a membership fee to join Trusted House Sitters, but after that, all the accommodation you can book, all the house sits you can book for that year, free. I have spent 11 consecutive months house sitting. I want to say 2018 into 2019, I think, where I house sat for 11 months consecutively. So if you pull out your little calculator and you calculate how much you spent on rent or mortgage for those months, that's how much I saved by paying for my little $200 membership to Trusted House Sitters, right? Yeah. We're at a time in the United States when people are starting to look at, I think I might need to leave here. But if you don't feel like you have the money to set up a whole life somewhere else, you might have the money, because I'm setting up a life in Bogota and it's going to start racking up. Prices are going to start adding up. You might have the money to be a full-time traveler, like be out in the world, be a nomad, and book house sits to get free accommodation. There was a time I think that 2018, in 2018, I house sat in Mexico for 6 months on $3,000, right? I knew I didn't have a whole lot of money to blow, so I didn't blow a whole lot of money. I just ate food, walked instead of paying for Ubers most of the time. And for 6 months, I house sat with only $3,000, right? I spent $500 a month or less, right? Because I came back with money still. So I spent $500 a month or less on food, on transportation, on little fun stuff, drinks, clothes, shopping, less than $500 a month. Yeah, I want my head to cover the poster because I feel like it's a little strange. I feel like it's a little strange for me to have a poster of Martin Luther King in the background. It seems if I turned on a YouTuber's video and she had a poster of Martin Luther King in the background of her video, I would be like, who does she think she is? What is she doing? It happens to be in the room I'm renting. There are 2 of them, plus a Pink Floyd poster over here and a black and white poster over there. If you follow me on Instagram, I picked out 3 pictures that I want to have printed here, but I couldn't find a place to print them in person in the mall. There's supposed to be a photo printing place in the mall, but I couldn't find it. And turns out you're supposed to send them you're supposed to email them your pictures, or you like send them their pictures online, and then they deliver them to you. And I don't really want to do all that. So I've been thinking about how to fix this, because I'll be here for weeks. I'll be here probably for more weeks. So I'm trying to figure out what to put in the background. Also, there's a space downstairs. There's a good office space downstairs. I just wasn't ready in time to set up the office for my personal use for this video. So in future videos, if I'm still here, I'll be in the office probably. But like in older houses, outlets and plugs come at a premium. And so you need to know, like, where are the outlets? Where is my extension cord if I don't know where the outlets are? Like setting up in a new space is a little It takes me 2 or 3 minutes. And as we've just discussed, I didn't have 2 or 3 minutes today. Okay. House sitting is a wonderful option if you're okay with being free in the world, right? If you're okay with booking a house sit in X country and going there. You do pay for your own transportation, which is why a lot of house sitters focus on one area or one region. But if you're okay with being like, I'm going to London, I know I can book back to 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 back house sits in London. I'm just going to be free in London until the tourist visa says I need to leave. I don't know if you get 30 days. I don't know if you get 90 days in the UK or 180 days on a US passport. But quite often, and this is how I started house sitting, quite often house sitters go to a place and book the first house sit in a place and then book more and more and more, knowing that if you have a period of time where you don't get booked, either you're going someplace else where you can get booked, like London, or you're paying for your own accommodation for that stretch of time. Erica De Niro TV. Good morning, Erica. I was about to do a local last minute sit. She reached out to me, but I had to decline because I needed a sitter for my fur baby and couldn't bring her. Okay, 2 cats and an iguana. Okay. Sometimes there are house sits where you can bring your own pets, right? You just ask them that question. Can I have a blank? I have a dog, a cat, an iguana. Can I bring that? Sometimes people will say yes, and sometimes they'll say no. Generally, if they say no, it's more about like their pet not liking other animals, right? Part of the reason that people are bringing in a house sitter is that so that their pet can be comfortable at home and not stressed out in a boarding facility. So they might be like, listen, my cat hates dogs, or she's, you can't bring your dog. But sometimes they're okay with it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All you have to do is ask. They're regular people. House sitting clients are people. All you do is ask them. Right. Nichelle, has anyone done any house sitting in France? If anyone's done any house sitting in France, holler at Nichelle. Let her know. I've house sat in the US. I've house sat in from Boston down to Southern Florida. Right. All up and down the East Coast. And my straw keeps dipping in there. And Austin, Texas. And then I've house sat up and down the West Coast from, I don't know, the Bay Area to Southern Cal. Well, that's not up and down the West Coast, but in California, from the Bay Area up down to Southern California. Mm-hmm. In Mexico, I've house sat in and around Guadalajara, like the Lake Chapala area, and over to the state of Guanajuato, and San Miguel de Allende. And did I house sit in Mexico City? I don't think I house sat in Mexico City, but there are Mexico City house sits. I've house sat through trusted house sitters in and around the UK, all around England, not the other countries in the UK, but all over England, from York to London to Wimbledon to Brighton. And I've house sat in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. Yeah, so that's where I've house sat. Questions? Ask me questions. Hey, Shantae, if you know someone is a Trump supporter, would you refuse their house sit? Yeah, I wouldn't want to stay in there. I wouldn't want to feel that. They wouldn't book you anyway, so neither one of y'all want to deal with each other. Yeah, I don't book house sits that I'm not going to be super amazingly comfortable in, like happy to be there. Right? This is not like me sacrificing. I don't book house sits to sacrifice. I book house sits for luxury on top of the free accommodation and the pet care, because I like pets and I like taking care of pets. On top of having that company from a pet, I want to be happy in the house. So yeah, don't book house sits that you're not interested in. You say yes or no to any house sit, right? Yeah. I wouldn't book house sits where, what things are no's for me now? In the beginning, my no's were a lot. Pretty much anything was a yes because I needed the free place to stay. And I was never sure. In the beginning, it takes a while before you understand that even if you don't take this house sit, you can still book those dates with somebody else. But for me now, what's a no? I don't know if the house is nice enough. I'll take anything. I guess just a house that I wouldn't feel comfortable in, and I wouldn't feel comfortable if they were MAGA people. I wouldn't feel comfortable if they also don't feel comfortable in really particular people's homes, right? Right? If I feel like you're gonna send me a bill at the end for sitting in the sofa too many times, sitting on the sofa too many times, right? Some people you can tell they're a little fussy, I guess, fussy. I don't deal with fussy. Or fussy about the pet. That's about it. If they have a swimming pool and a housekeeper, I'm going, right? You can tell if they have a housekeeper by the pictures, right? You could tell this is not a house she cleans herself. She did not do that. That's the housekeeper's work. What if you don't have any experience with pets? Good morning, Jillian Nicole. Get experience with pets. Find somebody whose cat or dog you can take care of for a little while, half a day even, right? Get some experience, not because somebody won't book you, because somebody will book you even if you have no experience, right? That'd be like, my cat's easy. Just stay here. I need to go. I need you. She's easy. Just stay. But you're going to feel comfortable. If you've ever fed a cat, scooped the kitty litter and fed a cat and pet a cat, if you've ever done those things, you'll feel better. So get a little bit of experience that way. Find somebody you know and hang out with their cat for half a day and do all of the responsibilities for the cat. That's what I would say. There are people who will book you with no experience. My first cat sit, my first house sit was a cat sit, and I'd never taken care of cats. I'd had dogs before, but I'd never scooped a kitty litter before. But she was desperate. She had to go to Disney World. So she booked me. Her two cats one of them was very, very shy. The other one was just didn't want to be bothered. And so she was like, they're not going to bother you. Just put the food here twice a day. Keep them out of this particular room. I think those were my rules. Put the food here twice a day. Keep them out of that room. Make sure there's water in the dish. And cats don't drink a whole lot of water if they eat wet food anyway. And scoop the kitty litter every day. Put it in the trash, not down the toilet, is an important thing that they all want you to know. Don't flush the kitty litter and the poop down the toilet. You got to put it out in the trash. Yeah, it's easy. Cat sitting is very easy. As a dog person and a person who thought she didn't like cats are now my favorite thing to sit because they're so easy. They don't care about you. You don't have to go out and walk them in the rain and the snow and the hail and the sleet and the sun. The sun is the thing because I don't house sit in cold places. But I do like to house sit in a nice warm place with a swimming pool. But that means walking a dog in the heat twice a day, at least every day. Yeah, Nubia Blake says, find family and friends with pets you can help out. Yeah. Like seriously, a half a day where you feed the cat, scoop the kitty litter, brush the cat, right? A half a day where you walk the dog, feed the dog, put the dog in the kennel, right? You knowing how to operate a dog kennel if they use kennels, knowing how to operate or how to hook them into different types of leashes and harnesses, you're good to go. You're good to go. Now, more importantly than experience with pets is liking pets. You do need to like pets to be a house sitter whose plan is to leave the country and stay booked with house sits. There are house sits that are not pet sits, but we're talking today to people who need to get out of the country with a little bit of money and want free accommodation back to back to back to back. You're going to have to like pets. You don't have to like all pets. You don't have to like big dogs or small dogs or hairless cats, right? I don't like all pets. But there has to be some sort of pet that you like, right? That you like. You have to like cats or dogs or big dogs or little dogs or something. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to stay booked. There are house sits that are not pet sits, but they're in very high demand, and I wouldn't bank on it, right? I wouldn't fly to London and with one house sit booked and hope and pray that I could get other house sits without pets, and because Otherwise, you're spending money to stay in London, which is expensive. But you know what I would do? I would fly to London with one house sit booked if I liked pets and just book more and more while I was there, even though the downtime, the time when you don't have anything booked is expensive. I would do that. And I have done that. That is what I did because you can be booked back to back to back in the UK, and you can get on a train and go from one part of the UK to the other. I keep bringing up the UK because it's House Sitter Central, right? It is the place where you can stay booked with house sits. Food is expensive in the UK and transportation is expensive in the UK. But if you have a free place to stay, you can make it work, right? You can find out how to get groceries for cheap, right? And cook your own meals and do as little paying for transportation as possible. It's a place that I enjoyed house sitting even when I had no money. And my dinner was rice from their pantry, eggs I bought, right? Stir fried pineapple rice with cashews from their pantry, right? House sitting people, most people, everyone's different. All humans are different, right? But most people open up their pantries to you. They're like, whatever's here, you're welcome to it. If there's something they don't want you to eat, they'll separate it. It's usually wine and alcohol. It's usually wine and certain alcohols. Like, this is expensive. Please don't touch anything on this shelf. Other than that, have at it, right? So there were times when I'm like, okay, we got rice here, we got cashews, we got whatever. Let me go buy some, we got pineapple. Let me go buy some eggs. I'm having pineapple rice for dinner for 3 days. This is my food. Am I answering questions? Are you anyone here with a question about house sitting? Ask your question, please. I've talked about house sitting so much that I feel like maybe I'm not talking from the very beginning, but I want to talk to those of you who are just being introduced to house sitting. But I also want to answer questions from those of you who are doing things, who are more further along. And also I want to talk to those of you who are house sitting. I have a new house sitter toolkit at housesit.vicarious.com/toolkit. The link is here in the chat and the link is in the description. If you want my toolkit, which gives you some other resources that I use, like the letter, that's the important resource. The actual letter that I use to get booked to house sit. If you want the actual letter that I use to get booked, get my new house sitter toolkit, the link is here in the chat and the link is in the description of this video. Okay. So house sits are pet sits mostly, especially if you're talking back-to-back house sitting. You're pet sitting. You're staying in their home. You're getting free accommodation in the home. You pay to get yourself there. You're paying for your own transportation. Although sometimes they'll pick you up from the airport or the bus station. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. Sometimes they'll give you use of their car. Some people are house sitters and they book house sitters, right? Like when I get my place here in Bogota finally, I'm a house sitter, but I also probably will bring in a house sitter sometimes. Some people do both. Those people are a lot more liberal and giving. They tend to give more stuff because they know what it's like. And sometimes people will give you the use of their car. I've had, for a while there, it was like 3 to 1, like one third or 1/4 of every house sit offered me their car. It's different now because I've done most of my recent house sits were in Southern California. For the last couple summers, I house sat in Southern California, and they're not really into that. But abroad, they might even give you the car, right? Sometimes on Trusted House Sitters, they'll check the box that says sitter needs a car. That's not always the truth. People think you need a car because they live their life with a car. But listen, in Oakland, California, you don't need a car. Right? San Francisco, I've had plenty of people in San Francisco say you need a car. You don't need a car in San Francisco, right? You've got public transportation. You've got Uber. You're like the birthplace of Uber. You don't need a car there. So sometimes they'll check that you need a car box and they don't mean it. You need to do your Googles. You need to look around that city or that town. And sometimes they'll actually give you the use of the car. Okay, so Dr. Alyssa is house sitting right now in Pachuaca de Soto, Mexico. I've never heard of that. It sounds really nice. Is it cute? And I'm driving her car. Yeah, I think most of my house sits that gave me use of the car were in Mexico and the UK. But again, that's two of the four countries I've house sat in. So I don't know if that's saying anything. But Mexico and the UK, and they gave me use of the car. Or if they live on a golf course community, they'll give me the use of the golf cart, right? That's kind of life. Hi, Kat. I just confirmed a sit with a cute dog and a pool in Cabo, Mexico, in Julio. Muy bien. Fiesta, fiesta. Felicitaciones. That's amazing. Yeah. There's good living in this space. Once you get one 5-star review on Trusted House Sitters, once you get one 5-star review, you're pretty much on level playing field with other people, right? I don't know, 30, 40, 50 reviews, 60 reviews on Trusted House Sitters. I really don't remember. I don't know. Every time I look, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the number. And then I forget to look, and then I forget the number. But I don't get booked all the time. Sometimes other people book house sits, and there are not a whole lot of people with more reviews than me, right? Because most people house sit sometimes. Most people don't house sit back to back like I have done. You're on level playing field with people. So get a first house sit with 5-star reviews. And then you're out in the world. House sitting taught me how to be free, how to just, I'm not an unspontaneous person. I think I'm a pretty spontaneous person to begin with. But house sitting helped me continue to be free or be spontaneous. Oh, I've never heard of this town, but the house looks nice and they seem nice and the pet is cute. Okay, I'll go there. Okay, I've never heard of San Nicolas, San Nicolas de whatever in Mexico. I've never heard of that town. And I didn't even know when I booked it how close it was to Guadalajara. I think they had told me to fly into Guadalajara Airport, but I didn't even know how close it was. I didn't know how I was going to get from Guadalajara Airport to the house. None of that. But going with the flow, being free out in the world has been a wonderful benefit of house sitting. Okay, Carol, I answered your question. Letter is still available to use. It's a good letter. One thing I know is how to pitch. I know how to send a pitch. It's a good letter. Sometimes I hear people be like, I still haven't booked a house sit. First of all, you're not going to book every house sit. Some people book the first one they apply for. Not everybody, probably not most. You have to be willing to apply for multiple house sits and not block off the time, not say, I applied for a house sit on these dates already. I can't apply for any more house sits on those dates. False. Until they confirm you, you keep applying. Some people don't apply enough. Other people are terrible at sending the pitch email. You don't know it. I get pitch emails all the time. Rashida and I just met on Friday. We meet on Fridays. And we just met yesterday. And I was like, but what is she asking for? Right? We go through our inbox. People are pitching us different things. I don't know what she wants. People are terrible at pitching. You're bad at it, some of you. And if you're saying, I'm not getting booked, I'm not getting booked, I'm not getting booked, you're probably really bad at that email. If you're sending an email, when people say, I need a house sitter for these dates, and you send an email that says, I'm interested, you're in the trash. You're in the trash folder before they get finished reading that sentence. If you send a pitch that says, if they say, my cat needs to stay inside, she cannot, one cat can go outside and the other cat can't, and you don't acknowledge in the letter that they have a special request, you're at the bottom of the list, right? My pitch email covers the bases. It's a template for you to use. You're not going to use my exact email because you're not me. The email is like, your cat is so adorable. Maybe you never use the word adorable in your life, okay? You're going to use the email as a template. Here are the things you need to cover so that you get booked. Instead of saying, I never got booked, I never got booked. I'm not going to point you to anywhere that's not going to help you get your money's worth. Kat, who's going to Cabo San Lucas in her house sit, that is going to more than give her trusted house sitter's money's worth. Okay? We're in the business of getting our money's worth. So, Dr. Alyssa in the town I've never heard of, it's great. Walking the dog right now, lovely, near Mexico City. Oh, good. Wonderful. Okay. Listen, house sitting is a way to get you out the door. Coco, the template worked for me. Felicitaciones. Congratulations, Coco. Good question, Simply Stephanie. Hello, amiga. Can you house sit if you're not alone? Absolutely. Absolutely. House sitting posts often say we would like a couple, which to them just means two people. They don't necessarily, you don't have to be a couple. There are mother-daughter house sitting teams. There are spouse or partner house sitting teams. There are friend house sitting teams. There are mother-children house sitting teams. Anybody here house sat with a child or children? There are a few women inside of the Exodus Summit Facebook community. If they're not here today, Stephanie, there are posts inside of the Exodus Summit Facebook community of women and children house sitting together, women house sitting with their children. You don't have to take my word for it. Go to the Exodus Summit Facebook community, exodussummit.com/community. They share their experiences house sitting with their children. A lot of these clients are people with families. Some of the house sitting clients are solo people, and I can understand them being like, listen, we only want a solo house sitter. I don't want a whole bunch of people up in my house. I'm not into that. I can understand that. Okay. But plenty of house sitting clients are families. They got kids. Your kids are welcome to come here. Their dog loves kids, and your kids are welcome here. Yeah. If the person that you're house sitting with, or people, your mom and your son, okay, even if the people you're house sitting with don't really fool with the pets and you're the only one who takes care of the pets, that works. I never got a chance to talk to Deborah and her husband, Deborah Austin and her husband, house sat. Oh, I talked to her very briefly here, and we were supposed to talk on the Exodus Summit channel. We need to reschedule that. I talked to Deborah very briefly here. She and her husband sold their home. I believe they lived in Texas, but they may not have. And they house sat for months to save up money so that they could move to Panama, right? Sold their home, moved out of their home, house sat in the United States for months and months. In my mind, I'm thinking 10 or 12 months, close to a year, but it may have been shorter than that. House sat for months and months, getting free accommodation and visiting friends and family around the country so that they could save up that couple $1,000s every month so that they could move to Panama and have money to move into Panama. And I think she told us he took care of the pets. She wasn't into all that, right? I think that was them. It may have been a different family. I'm sorry, Deborah and your husband, if that's wrong. But I think that's what she told me. You think she was in Florida? Hi, Viv. Viv says, I think they were in Florida before they left. Okay. I think they're the couple who told me, listen, he takes care of the pets. Right? Not everybody in the house sitting group needs to be the pet sitter. Y'all work things out however you work things out. Right? Do people allow you to house sit with pets? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. You just have to ask them. All house sitting clients are human people. They're all human people. If you have a special request or question, you ask them. You can ask them when you first apply, right? I'm house sitting with my son. He's 22 and he's on break from college or whatever. I don't know. What are 22-year-olds? My son, he's 18 and he's on a gap year. And we house sit together. When you apply, you say that, right? House sitting clients are people. They're human people. If you have a special request, you have a conversation with them. Okay. Oh, hey, Karima. I don't think I've seen your name in a while. Hi. Greetings to you, Stephanie, and the ones who are here. Thank you, Stephanie. I'm in Thailand currently with my 8-year-old. We signed a lease. Still have to at you when I make a video. Please do. Congratulations. We're in Thailand and enjoy. I hope y'all love it. Love it. You must sign a lease. Make it home. Congratulations. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Yes. Know before you go, I've done house sits with my mother and my young adult child. These are human people with a house that they're not going to be using while they're gone. If they like you, They'll say yes. You don't ever sneak things up on people. Everybody today has a ring cam and a door cam and a whatever cam. You can't bring a stranger into the house without them knowing it, right? So you don't sneak things. Even if there weren't cameras, I'm not saying that the cameras are the reason you don't do it. I'm saying you don't do it because it's not right to bring strangers into someone's home. But they will know. There's no sneaking. They have door cam. Everybody's got door cams. They will know if you brought another person into that house. So these are things that you bring up when you apply. These are things that you bring up at first. If your situation changes, if you apply as a solo person because you think your kids are going to be with their dad that weekend or that whatever, and then it turns out, oh, the kids are going to be with me, then you communicate with the client as soon as possible. They're human people, okay? You communicate with them as soon as possible if there's a change. Yeah. Hey, Keisha Ducree, you can filter family-friendly homes. Trusted House Sitters is updating and updating and updating thing, and that's a new thing. That has not been in the past. You could filter like types of pets or no pets at all. And you could filter a few things, but you can filter a whole lot more now. Family-friendly homes. Okay, plan to do this with my 2 boys when the dates, stars, and locations align. Okay, good luck. Go get it. Go get it. I would recommend if you have this is for everyone. If you have a specific time period that you want to be house sitting, I'd recommend you go ahead and get a house sit now. Get your 5-star review now so that you can get booked then. Trying to get a 5-star review and get booked for this amazing time period. Maybe you're a teacher. Well, it's already summertime, but maybe you're a teacher and you have off in the summer. If you want to be house sitting all summer long, you need to get your 5-star review right away. As soon as you have that thought. For most people, that means house sit in your city or the closest city. Get a house sit in the closest city to you, and then you get that 5-star review. Then it's easier to get the dream house sits, right? There are dream house sits out there. I've been in some dream houses. You've seen them. Mm-hmm. You've seen them. I haven't. Yeah. Hi, Blue, the Oracle Empress. I have a playlist called New House Sitter Playlist. That is, if I can get it in just a second, I'll get it to you. If not, then you can just go look for New House Sitter Playlist. They are shorter videos. I thought I had a. Let's keep scrolling. Let's go to the beginning. It should have been one of my first playlists. But playlists aren't in order. What is this? Gap Year A to Z. So it should be the next one. I can't find it. There is a house sitting playlist where the videos are shorter and answer the same questions, but without the conversation. I can't find that playlist. Maybe it doesn't exist. Maybe it doesn't exist. House sitter vlogs. That's not it. Those are long videos. I've got budget travel hacks. Are they in that playlist? No. I'm sorry. I can't find it. House sitter school. Here. Look for the shortest videos inside of this house sitter school playlist. Let me copy the link. Copy. Okay. House sitters. This is house sitter playlist. What's a short video? 16 minutes. Here, where do I find house sits? Okay, here's a short video. Happy flight. Okay, there's a short video. Where do I find house sits? Okay. Hi Ozzy, do I use paid sitting sites like Rover? I've been on Rover. Rover is a house sitting site where you get paid. So instead of on Trusted House Sitters where you're getting free accommodation, on Rover you get cash money. Rover is not helpful if you're looking to travel internationally. You have to have a work permit. You have to be legally permitted to work in the countries you're house sitting in for money. So Rover doesn't work for international pet sits. You also have to have an address thank you, Nichelle. You also have to have an address, house sits, in that town or city. So Rover is not for people who are are looking to be in different locations. Rover is for you if you want people to bring their pets to your house in your city, or if you want to do some dog walking in your city, or you want to go house sit in your city. I found people on Rover to be really unserious about wanting a house sitter. I'm like, we're in Delaware. I'm in Delaware. I lived in Delaware with my parents. I'm in Delaware, and you're contacting me because I'm on the site, but then you never reply. When I reply, that's the last I hear from you. There were not, this was 2018, 2019. It's not like there were 50 house sitters in Delaware. There's probably 3. So why would you reach out if you weren't serious? I don't know. I found Rover to be very unserious. It did work for me in California. I went to California on a trusted house sitter's house sit. And while I was there, I signed up for Rover to walk dogs for money. I was getting back then $22 an hour or something like that to walk dogs for money. So Rover, and I used the house sitting address. I don't know if that's legal. Okay. But I was house sitting in this house for weeks. So I found a lady who wanted she actually didn't want a dog walker. She wanted someone to drop in on her brand new puppy every day at lunchtime. So I did drop in sits with Rover because I had the California address, right? And because I'm legally allowed to work in the United States. But if you're looking to go around the country or around the world, Rover's not it. It is it if you need some extra money in your city, your town, and you like animals. How do you start? You sign up for Trusted House Sitters. Okay, I'll drop my link. Without the membership. Okay, how do you become a house sitter or pet sitter without the membership? You need to have connections with some people who need house sits or pet sits, right? So friends, family, your veterinarian's office clients, you need to do all of that legwork yourself. You also need to insure yourself. House sitting without a Trusted House Sitters membership means you run the business and you take on all of the liability. Trusted House Sitters membership means you're insured and you find the clients basically are right there on your screen. There's no legwork required really in getting clients. I don't have my own clients. I am 7 or 8 years in on house sitting, right? I am a trusted house sitter. I was a Trusted House Sitters ambassador. I was like the house sitter girl, right? I'm the one who goes, if they want a house sitter to speak at their annual meeting, it's me, right? And even I don't book clients off of Trusted House Sitters very often because I'm not taking. You want me? I'm responsible if I burn this kitchen down? No, thank you. Trusted House Sitters insures me. I'm not paying for house sitter insurance. I'm not setting up a full-fledged house sitting business. House sitting without the backing of Trusted House Sitters or house carers or Mind My House means you need to start a full business. You're welcome to do it. I don't do it. For a while there, I had a good stretch of clients saying, next time we'll book you off of the app so we can pay you. But people have kind of stopped that because I think even they're like, I want my insurance. I had two repeat clients. No, One of them even still booked me, even though she was a repeat client, she still booked me through Trusted House Sitters. I had one repeat client who liked to book me off of Trusted House Sitters and pay me cash, pay me money. But most people don't want to do that because if their dog dies, who's going to compensate them? Right? If their kitchen burns down or what other thing, who's going to compensate them if you're out of network, if you're not on the platform? So good, I've answered your question. If you want to get started house sitting without joining a platform like Trusted House Sitters or House Carers or Mind My House, you're going to need to contact friends and family, just like with any other business. Start with friends and family. Then you're going to need to find the people who would have the easiest access to those clients and talk to them. I can't imagine walking in cold to a veterinarian's office and being like, I'm a pet sitter, and having that work, right? But if you have a veterinarian you already know because you already have pets, you may have that may be an approach. Walking into the veterinarian's office, I'm a pet sitter. Can I give you these materials to give to your clients for when they need a pet sitter, right? I've seen little signs when I walk into veterinarians' offices. You see pet sitter services available, right? So that's the answer. You don't have to keep asking me. That's the answer. Okay, I've answered your question. If you're not going to join a platform where your clients are right there, then you're going to have to do the legwork. You're going to have to find the clients yourself and advertise yourself. If you don't have the money to join Trusted House Sitters, this is real talk, okay? As a person who joined Trusted House Sitters with very little money. If you don't have the money right now to join Trusted House Sitters, how are you going to have the money to go to the house sit? How are you going to have the money to eat? Right? The $100 and some membership. If you don't have the money to join the membership, this is for everyone. If you don't have the money, then how are you going to feed yourself? How are you going to get to the house sit? How are you going to navigate this? This is not the solution if you have $0, right? This is little money. I said little money, right? If you don't see a return, if you can't see how paying $100, $150, $200 to join Trusted House Sitters to get free accommodation for the year, if you can't see how that's helpful, or if you can't swing that, this is not the solution. You need to learn how to make money, right? You need to learn how to make money because there's no amount of free accommodation in the world that will feed you, right? Well, there are work exchanges where you get free room and board. Okay. But if the membership cost, sometimes I get those emails in my inbox. If the membership cost, if you can't swing the $150 to join, how are you going to get to the house sit? Serious question. How are you going to eat once you get there? Right? It's even I who will eat from their pantry. Even I have to spend money on food, right? So work on ways to make money where you are today. If you want house sitting to take you around the world, you need to be able to afford the membership to Trusted House Sitters. Hi, Nasia. I've done house sits outside of Trusted House Sitters, but was looking to sign up with the membership. Is there a way to get previous clients' testimonials and ratings in the app? Not their ratings, but you can get their testimonials by having them become a reference. When you sign up for Trusted House Sitters, it asks, is there anyone who will write you a letter of reference? It's just an email. It's not a big problem. It's just an email. You just need their email address. So you can get their reference over there, not their rating. But it's okay. Then 1 5-star review and you're back ready to get out in the world. Some people are coming from there are other platforms. I've named Trusted House Sitters, House Carers, and Mind My House, but there are platforms all over for house sitting. There's a house sit in Mexico. I'm sure there's a house sit in whatever country you want to go to. I like Trusted House Sitters because you don't have to have a whole bunch of memberships. The little bit of time that I poked around on House Sit in Mexico, that particular website, most of those houses were also on Trusted House Sitters. So I'm like, I wouldn't pay for both. But if you're coming from a different platform, you have reviews and ratings like Rover, you can get some of the top people to send you a letter of reference through the Trusted House Sitters app. They make it very easy. And then you can just refer to that. There's a place there's a place for you to talk in your profile, and you can tell people, I'm new to this platform, but I've been house sitting on X platform for X number of years. I have this number of reviews, average that. You can put a screenshot, right? You can use that. It's not useless. You can still use it in those ways. And then Kat's reminding us, you can also link to your Airbnb profile. So if you have reviews from hosts on Airbnb, that can show up on your Trusted House Sitters profile as well. But in terms of getting reviews from past clients, you can screenshot, right? Take a screenshot of those reviews on those other platforms. Okay. You're welcome. All right. Yeah. So if you have pets and you want to do some traveling, also join Trusted House Sitters. Yolanda is locating cozy. She says, when I went to Hawaii in 2022, I paid $600 for 1 week of pet care. Then I found out about Trusted House Sitters 3 months later. Yeah. So that membership will also save you money. If you have pets and you want to be out in the world, do some traveling, your membership, $150, $200 for the year, covers you for as many house sitters as you can get, as many house sitters as you can book, right? As many house sitting gigs or as many house sitters as you can book in a year. That's a one-time annual membership, an annual once a year membership, right? And then they have a combined membership that says, I'm a house sitting client and a house sitter. You can combine. So you can go out and house sit for people while people are home house sitting for you. There's a dual membership. Okay. All right. Yeah, Rover is doing there's all kinds of stuff on Rover. So like I said, I did drop-in visits. There's walking dogs, there's drop-in visits, there's house sitting in their house, and there's boarding the pet. You can board the pet in your house. If you're in one place and you want to make some money and you're a friend of animals, Rover. But if you want to move around, not Rover. Lessons learned. Hey, Tamika Williams, any advice based on lessons learned, something you would not do again? Absolutely. If on Trusted House Sitters, you can see if they've booked a house sitter before. And every time for every house sitter they've booked, you should see a rating and reviews. You should see that house sitter gave them 5 stars, 4 stars, and the house sitter left them a review. If they've booked house sitters before and none of their house sitters have given them a rating or a review, that's a red flag. I kind of assumed that, but still booked the house sit. I booked a house sit in Southern California, Santa Monica, not far from the beach, walk to the beach. She had 3 house sitters before, and none of them had left her a review. Because house sitting is not mainstream yet, it attracts a certain type of person who is very nice. Right now, house sitters are very nice people. And they believe if you don't have anything nice to say, you don't say anything at all. And so a house sitter who's not, multiple house sitters, I would say one who didn't leave a review could be a mistake, but multiple house sitters who have not left a review is a red flag. And it could very well mean that there's something they don't want to put on the internet, but it was something wasn't good. I booked that house sit and got there and then found out that the woman had never trained the dog. He was not super big. I would still call him a medium dog. He was medium large, right? Not large, medium large, and not very muscular looking, but he was strong and she had never trained him. And I think she said she adopted him. I don't know if that's true. People will tell you they adopted a dog when really they've had the dog since it was a puppy. They bought the dog as a puppy, but they just didn't bother to train him. She said she adopted him and he was kind of reactive and he was kind of this and kind of that. And don't you know, one day that dog got mad at me and got up in my face, backed me up against the wall. Before I was like, no, down, right? Then I was like, I'm in charge here. But from then on, I was like, I'm not touching this dog. We're not friends. And then I called her and I said, listen, I tried to take the collar off of him. It took me too long and he got mad at me and he bared his teeth at me and like acted like he was going to attack me. And so I just told him to go get in his kennel. I closed him in his kennel. And she was like, oh, yeah, let me tell you what this lady told me. The last house sitter had to call animal control on him. Lesson learned. And so I do not book house sits. If they've had a house sitter before and they've got no reviews, I don't book that house sit. Every now and then, I do still book a house sit from a client who has no reviews, but they're brand new to the platform. If the house is nice enough, I'll roll the dice, but I don't roll the dice on, you've had house sitters before and none of them have left you a review. Something's wrong. There's something wrong here, right? Nowadays, people are more if that was I assume that those were all brand new house sitters. A house sitter with experience feels less vulnerable about leaving an honest review. But a house sitter with no experience can sometimes feel so vulnerable. If I leave her a negative review, what if she then leaves me a negative review? Now, will I ever be able to book a real house sit? I understand that. I understand how those 3 house sitters probably felt. But I don't fall for that anymore. I don't do that anymore. If they've had house sitters, plural, and they don't have reviews, red flag. That man, have you seen that man on TikTok? Red flag. Absolutely didn't. Right? I should have asked her. Now she should have told me. I'm not absolving her from blame. Okay. But I should have asked her, why haven't your previous review, your house sitters left your review? What are they hiding? Not what are they hiding, but what is it that they don't want to say on the internet? And she would have said, well, he's not the best. I need a house sitter who, right? Well, she needed to put him in boarding or training or both. Those are my only red flags. Like, that's the only thing that I don't do again, right? Now, I still house sit for people if they have no reviews, if they're brand new, if the house is nice, I know I'm taking a chance. I've had house sits canceled. People get sick or injured or change their plans or whatever. I have had house sits canceled on me. It's never been a big problem. Sometimes I book another house sit immediately. Sometimes I still stay in the house. I had a house sit in San Miguel de Allende. She canceled while I was on the bus to San Miguel de Allende from Guadalajara to San Miguel. She canceled like, I don't know, half an hour before my bus was pulling up. I think in my recollection, it was really short, really close. And she was like, just stay here. And you know what I did? I stayed there. I stayed in her guest house. She had a guest house, like a guest. It was separate from the other part of the house. You know how some houses are built kind of in a U shape? Hers looked like it was supposed to have been built in a U shape, but they were working on the connecting part. So it was 2 separate structures. So I stayed back there. Yes, I did. I stayed there for days. So have a plan in case things get canceled. Sometimes my plan is book another, not sometimes, my plan in case a house gets canceled, book another house sit, stay in that town in a hotel or Airbnb or with friends or whatever, or go to a cheaper town and stay. In San Francisco, when a woman booked, I had like all winter booked in San Francisco. I think it was like November, December, January in San Francisco. And one of the longest house sits in the block in that grouping, her husband went to have surgery, broke his leg, went to have surgery and found out he had bone cancer. So she's like, girl, we're not going to Hawaii. Okay. I actually saw her post another house sit. And I later, like 2 years later, and I meant to ask her, like, how's your husband doing? But I wasn't applying for the house sit. I just meant to holler. Anyway, I think that was a 3 or 4 week house sit. I couldn't afford to stay in San Francisco for 3 or 4 weeks on my dime, right? So my plan was to get on a plane and fly down to Mexico. stay in Mexico for 3 weeks. It was cheaper to fly. It was cheaper to get on a plane and fly to Mexico and stay in a very inexpensive place in Mexico than it was to stay in San Francisco. But the good news is I just booked another house sit in the meantime. She was very apologetic, and she even offered, they had a basement apartment. They were in Montecito, California or something. One of the, I don't know if it was in the wine region, but it was close. Maybe Monterey, not Monterey, Montecito, or anyway, they had a basement apartment, and she was like, "You're welcome to come and stay here." And I was like, "Let me get back to you." And I got booked in another house sit right away. So those are my plans. If a house gets canceled, book another house sit, stay in their house, stay in my own place in that town, hotel or Airbnb, or go someplace cheaper and stay for a while. Those are my plans if a house gets canceled. Yeah, Viv. Yoga Bliss Dance says book the longest house sit first, find smaller houses to fill in. Yeah, if you're going to another place, right? If you're leaving a town or city that you're already in, I wouldn't go if you didn't have a lot of money, right? And you needed this to work and you needed to book back-to-back house sits. I would make sure that it was a good length of house sit, 2 weeks, 3 weeks or longer, and then book other house sits around it. Montecito. It was one of those places that was really pretty, not too far from San Francisco, above the water, whatever that bridge is, above that area, but really pretty. And they had the whole plan was for when they leave for me to stay in the basement apartment anyway, right? That's a thing. If they have a basement apartment or like an Airbnb, some places their home and their Airbnb are right next to each other, and they put the house sitter in the Airbnb. There are people who feel perfectly comfortable with you being all up in their house, and then there are other people who are like, you can stay in the Airbnb. Marin, it was Marin, Miss Callie. Thank you. It was Marin. Marin. That's where it was. That's exactly where it was. And I've seen her post house sit since then. But I think it's too late. I think if I had replied to her that first time, we may have become friends, because she was very nice. She was very nice. And she was brown. I don't think she was black, but she wasn't white. So Marin, is it Marin? Let me Google it. Marin County. Marin. Nope. Oh yeah. Above San Francisco. Yeah, that's where it was. So, Makita, hi. Do amazing Airbnb reviews count as references? They don't count as, they're like, it's its own category, right? So on Trusted House Sitters, you can have references, you can have reviews, and you can link to your Airbnb reviews. They're 3 different sections. It's you still want to have someone be a reference for you, because most of the house sits are pet sits. You hopefully can get a reference from someone who at least can say you're a friend to animals. There are 3 different categories. The Airbnb review linking to Airbnb reviews is separate. There are 3 different sections. Like cornmeal dumpling. Hello, I'm just joining. Have you ever felt unsafe in a home that you were sitting in? No, except for that one dog for a few seconds. And even that was just for a few seconds. The dog after that, he wanted to be my friend. I'm like, we're not friends. I sat down on the sofa to watch something. And here he come getting on the sofa trying to sit in my lap. No, we're not friends anymore. That was only a 2-night. It was only a 2-night house sit, I'm pretty sure, because I only wanted to be there to go to a conference that I wanted to go to. I think it was a 2-night house sit. Aside from that, never. Here's how you make sure that you're going to feel safe in that house. Look at it. Look at the pictures, right? Look at the neighborhood. Most people won't tell you exactly where the house is until you book the house sit, or none of them will tell you exactly where it is until you book the house sit. But they'll give you some landmarks, right? I'm a 5-minute walk from this park and this grocery store. And so you get yourself on Google Maps. I do this often. I don't do this until after I've applied because time is of the essence when you're applying for A+ house sits. If it's an A+, you need to apply in 2 minutes or less. Like, I'm not even exaggerating that. Okay. But often after I've applied for the house sit, I get myself on Google Maps and I turn on the little yellow man and I walk around that neighborhood and just make sure it looks like a place I want to be. For the most part, the house will tell you what the neighborhood's going to look like, right? If they have a swimming pool and 2 kitchen islands, which is a thing now, 2 kitchen islands and whatever, it's a nice neighborhood. It's a safe, I don't mean a nice neighborhood. It's a safe neighborhood, right? Outside of the United States, I'm less concerned with what the neighborhood looks like, frankly. Outside of the United States, safety is not my concern. I'm safe. Outside of the United States, it's just safer. There's just less concern about physical safety. And so I hardly do that outside. If I book a house sit in the UK, I might still do the Google Maps man just to see how far the walk is to the metro station. But it's not because I'm concerned for my safety. The house will tell you what the neighborhood looks like. If you think that this house doesn't, if the house doesn't even look nice, then you're not going to apply anyway. So there's no need to do all of that. Safety. If they, you need, inside of house sitter school training, I talk about questions to ask. A question that you'll want to ask them is anybody coming to this house while I'm gone? You'd be surprised how often. It's not often, but I've had probably 3 times in 60 house sits. Okay. But each time it surprised me when they're like, oh, I have some workmen coming to do XYZ. And so now I remember to ask every time, who's coming to this house? Housekeeper, I'm down. Dog walker, A+. Sometimes you book a house sit, the housekeeper's coming and a dog walker's coming. Yes. And the pool cleaner, pool man, I'm with it. But men are coming to dig up the back patio and relay the pavers. Do you feel safe with that? Do you not? You decide. Does that feel good? Do you decide that. I stayed in the house sit because the house was nice. And the dog was like, she wore clothes. She was the cutest dog. She wore little sweaters. So I kept the house sit and didn't raise a fuss about the men doing the yard work in the garden. They were there the whole time I was there. Like every day they came, almost every weekday. It was a big project. And once in a while she would be like, can you take a picture to show me the progress? I'm like, girl, no. I mean, yes, I did it, but like, this is not how you do things. I'm not a workman. Communicate with them. Ask them to show you the progress. Because if you don't like it, I'm not advocating for you. I'm not the go-between between you and the workman. Unsafe. Did we answer the unsafe question? Yeah, it was nice. Hi, Diane Heidelberg. Friends, Diane Heidelberg has moved to San Miguel de Allende, Mexico, and she's living her life. It's amazing. I can't wait to go visit y'all. Have I ever been to Puerto Rico? I have, and I had a beautiful house sit in Puerto Rico I feel like that was this year, January, Christmas, December. It was December. I just house sat in Puerto Rico, December of 2024, Christmas time. They were coming to the US for their son. One of their sons was graduating from college at the mid-year point and something else, and then Christmas, and right. So they had a nice trip. I was in Puerto Rico for 3 weeks. That house was beautiful. Even though it was in a neighborhood, it looked like we were in the jungle in Puerto Rico, the way they had left a lot of trees and natural stuff around. It was fantastic. That was a fantastic house sit, and the dog was amazing. Yeah, it was a smallish house. I don't know. It had 3 bedrooms, but it was relatively small, but beautiful. Really, really well done. Beautiful house. Yeah, Puerto Rico. Muy bien. What do you do? Hi, Cece. What do you do if the host leaves the home super messy, dirty before they leave? I had an unexpected surprise. This is why we read reviews from other clients ahead of time. What would I do? I've never run into this because I read. Listen, I take house sits that look like they have a house sitter. I mean, like they have a housekeeper. Seriously, you don't have that problem. If they have a housekeeper, they're arranging for the housekeeper to come. I don't have that problem. What would I do? I would send them a message telling them that it was a mess. Show the pictures, show visual evidence, and maybe you would have to arrange your own housekeeper to come in, right? But I would bill them. Trusted house sitters, I would, you know what? Some things you should probably ask trusted house sitters for support in, and that's probably one of them. I'm probably a person who does less of that than I should, but this is a case when I think I would get trusted house sitters on my side because there is an expectation that the house will look like the photos. Like that's basic. That's pretty much the only thing they need to do is make sure the house looks like the photos and make sure that they have given you the like emergency information, like who's the veterinarian, who's the whatever, and then the basic care information. What does this dog eat? How often do they eat it? Basic information. But if I walked into a house and it was a mess, I think I would contact trusted house sitters and say, look, here's some pictures. And then I would probably book a housekeeper myself, go to, I don't know, does Molly Maid still exist? Have her come and bill it to them. I think that's what I would do. I've not run into that because you know what? I listen, to get me as your house sitter, this is the approach that you should take. I know it's harder when you don't have a lot of money and you need a block of time covered. Okay. But my philosophy on house sitting is to get me as your house sitter, you have to verify that this is going to be an amazing experience. The photos are one thing, but the reviews from other clients are another. So you've got to have amazing reviews, not just this was good, but like I house sit for people whose reviews are like, oh my gosh, the most amazing house. They're the best clients. The dog was I love that. I want to keep the dog forever. I'm coming back, right? Bonus points if they have the same house sitter who comes back again, right? Because you can see who house sits and when. If the same house sitter comes back again, I'm like bonus points. This is a good one. So you should approach this like to get you as a house sitter, they need to prove that this is going to be an amazing experience. So the reviews are a thing, but anything can happen. And so if I ran into a house sit with that problem, number one, I would contact trusted house sitters. They have support. And then number two, get somebody in there to clean that house. I'm not doing it. Okay. But get somebody in there to clean that house. I think there's a chance that trusted house sitters might even put you up somewhere until the house was cleaned. You can take care of a pet by coming and going. That might be extreme. That might be extreme. Maybe that might be extreme. But at least I would get a corner of that place clean, a place where I feel comfortable. I'd get a corner of it clean while I'm waiting for somebody to come and clean the rest. This is why it's important to be a friend to animals, to house sit, because the animal is the priority. The pet, the cat, the dog, the fish, the whatever, they're the priority. If you're house sitting just to get the free accommodation and you don't like pets or animals, it's going to suck having to deal with things, right? It's going to suck having to deal with people and stuff and whatever, hurricanes, right? I've house sat in Florida and New Orleans during hurricane season, right? All of that is not worth it if you don't like animals. But on the other hand, if you do like animals, it makes it easier it smooths over a lot of stuff, right? You're house sitting, and the kitten is the most adorable kitten you've ever seen. If you get there and the house is a mess, you're going to be willing to work it out and not just be like, F this, I'm leaving, and leave the dog in there to die, right? You have to be willing to navigate some things. And being a friend to animals makes it easier to navigate some things. Push B. is anyone who's gone with small families who can give their input. I would join the Exodus Summit Facebook community because there are women in there who are sharing their experiences house sitting with their children or families, to give their input. They do that inside of the Exodus Summit community. And then here, Erica De Niro TV has already said that she's house sat with her children. But I don't know how old the kids are, Erica. Are you still here? Yeah, Yolanda, I was about to apply for a 1-week house sit in Mallorca, which is an island in España, until I saw that the only review said pet hair was everywhere and the house reeked of cigarette smoke. Right? Reviews, read the reviews, whether they have them, and also read between the lines if they don't have reviews. If they've had house sitters and they don't have reviews, read between the lines. Yeah, you have to be a friend to animals for this to be worth the time and effort. Right? Like I said, there are house sits that are not pet sits. They exist. But if you're talking, you need to house sit back to back to back, you need to be a friend of animals, right? It's gonna be some pet sitting. Yeah. Okay, good. Good. Yeah. All right. Oh, buenos días. Hola, ¿cómo estás? All right. Yeah, I was going to ask, do they have a housekeeper? I clean up after myself, but it's good to know. That's a question you can ask. I assume, right? You could see it in the pictures. Generally, if it's an actual photo of their lived-in home, and you're like, but where the lived-in part? They have a housekeeper. Most photos look like a regular everyday house. I'm fine with regular everyday everyday houses. I'm fine with that. But you can tell when they have a housekeeper. I think you can tell in the United States. Now, in other parts of the world, especially in Mexico, anybody can have a housekeeper. And anybody does have a housekeeper. If they've moved from country A to come to country B, they probably have a housekeeper. Is that a safe rule? Yeah, if they're foreigners in that country and they're bringing in a house sitter, right? If they're foreigners and they're bringing in a house sitter, they also probably have a housekeeper. I think that's a pretty safe rule. In Mexico, listen, in Mexico, everybody's got a housekeeper. Remember with that cat Tico? Do y'all remember how I house sat for that cat Tico? He was the orange cat, little kitten, out of his mind, energetic, out of his mind. That was a tiny condo. It was a tiny condo. I feel like the kitchen and the dining room and living room was the size of this bedroom. You can't see this bedroom, but it's just a regular sized bedroom. That was a tiny condo. They had a housekeeper. And that housekeeper was there for like 4 hours. I'm like, girl, go away as a hermit. I love a housekeeper being there, but I don't want to be there with the housekeeper. I'm like, girl, go. How about this? She made lunch. She asked me, did I want some lunch? Girl, this is a little tiny condo. Sweep the floor, mop the floor, go away. Tico had a housekeeper. They had a housekeeper in that house, and it was tiny, a tiny condo. What size are most 2-bedroom condos? I'm going to go with, it was below 1,000 square feet, 800 square feet. Is that tiny? 800 square foot condo, 2 bedrooms, 2 bedroom, 2 bath. Yeah, they had a housekeeper, right? If they have moved from one place to another, if they've moved from one place to another, they probably have a housekeeper. I think that's a safe rule, safe bet. Yeah, so being a friend to animals means knowing which animals and what things about animals you don't like. House sitters pick up poop, pet sitters pick up poop, right? If you're not into scooping kitty litter, don't take a cat sit. Unless listen, technology has really changed pet care. There are self-scooping kitty litter boxes. I don't know how they work. I really don't understand. I've never had one of those in a house sit. I've always had to scoop the kitty litter, I'm pretty sure. You need to know what you like and don't like. Girl, Now, how I've seen this before. If people have a housekeeper who's coming for 4 or 5 hours, she's gonna sit and eat her lunch, right? Don't rush her. That's normal. But in that unit, in that condo, girl, you could have been home. I'm pretty sure they would pay you the same price whether it took you an hour and a half or 4 hours. I'm pretty sure they would pay you the same rate. She cooked her, she went to the stove and cooked her lunch. Didn't just heat up something. Cooked her lunch, ate her lunch, offered to cook, offered to make extra for me. And there are times when I'm really happy to see a stranger person, right? Sometimes you be in the house for days and days. Sometimes I'm like, but most of the time when a housekeeper comes, I'm like, please, either I'm leaving or you leaving. I always ask them, do I need to be there when she comes? Like, does she have her own key? And does she know how to lock the door? Because sometimes when she comes, I'm leaving because I like to be a hermit. It's hard to be a hermit with other people in the house. Made her lunch. She was there. She came at least twice. I think I was in that house for 2 weeks, maybe 3. She came at least 2 times. And that was her routine, girl. So I know the last time I left. I think it must have been the second time I left. While I'm making lunch, would you like some chicken? Oh, no, because Natasha's saying, do I think that it was because she wanted to be in the air conditioning? No, because in San Jose, Costa Rica, they don't have air conditioning in those places. I doubt that there was air. San Jose, Costa Rica is very high altitude. It doesn't get that warm. I doubt there was air conditioning in that house. I'm trying to recall. A lot of places in Latin America, some of these cities are high altitude. I'm in Bogota. These houses don't have any ductwork, no heat, no air conditioning, and you hardly saw that in Costa Rica, in San Jose, Costa Rica. No air conditioning. Mm-mm. No, that's just her routine, right? You book me to clean your house, whatever size your house is. I'm here for 4 hours, and you pay me this many colones, right? And I'm gonna take my time. The housekeeper came and cleaned here yesterday, right? I left. I left my door open. I was like, please clean the bathroom. And I left, even though I just checked in. I'm like, I left. Yeah, I think it's just they're taking their time. They're eating their food. That is the thing. I don't anybody here in another part of the world where you have a housekeeper come in, and is that how they operate where you are too? That's the way I've seen it in Latin America. She's here for 4 hours. She's going to eat her lunch there. She may cook her lunch there. Okay. I would pay her the same amount of money, even if it only took her 2 hours, but that doesn't seem to be a thing that they're interested in. In Latin America, they're taking their time. In the UK, the housekeeper came in which house? I don't remember any housekeeper coming in the UK, and I stayed in some nice houses. I don't know. It seems like a Latin America thing. Listen, don't rush me. Okay? Don't rush me. Took me an hour to get here on the bus. I'm taking my time. Okay? Reclaiming my time. It was, girl. So whether the housekeeper is cleaning this house is 6 bedrooms. Now she may have been here for 6 hours yesterday. I'm not sure. I'm not sure when she came. I know when she left, but I'm not sure when she came. But whether it's a 6 bedroom house, this is a big old house in Bogota that is a co-living home, or a 2 bedroom, 2 bath condo, shoebox condo, it's going to take her the same amount of time to clean it. Okay. Just chill. Every condo I house out in, the other condo near where Shayla lives with the dog who got sick and got mosquito bites and had to wear a t-shirt. Even that condo also very small, still 4 hours. She's there for 4 hours. That's just the thing. Don't rush me. Yeah, Kat says she may have another house in the neighborhood that starts in the afternoon. Maybe, right? Maybe. Where am I going to go? If I leave here early, where am I going to go? I'm taking my time. Jamaicans do it too. They introduce me to their family and get real cozy. Yeah, they listen, it's a thing. No, I'm not mad at it. I just have to ask the questions now. Can she let herself in? And does she know how to lock the door when she leaves? Because if the answer is yes, I'm not going to be there. Listen, I'd rather make that the time that I go out and go to the mall and go to the grocery store and go do the XYZ. Let her have the house for 4 hours. It's easier for me to leave for 4 hours than to have somebody in the house with me for 4 hours. Girl, you still doing this? I'm like, I would definitely pay you the same amount if you would leave early. No, even when I tried, when I was in a long-term Airbnb and I paid a housekeeper to come in myself, I'd be like, you know, I'll pay you this amount no matter, even if it only takes 2 hours. They just don't do it. In Costa Rica anyway, they don't do it. Okay. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. Okay, we went from house sitters to housekeepers. What are your house sitting questions for me? D, I hope you're still here. Hi, thank you very much for that super chat. Good afternoon or good morning. It's still morning for most of y'all. Good morning for most of us. All right. Any other questions? Anything else we need to talk about? The link to join Trusted House Sitters is here. This is my affiliate link. It doesn't cost you any more to use my link, but they give me a little thank you money. This is my link to join Trusted House Sitters. If you're interested in house sitting to get free accommodation and you want to do it back to back to back to back, book up some time on your calendar, right? I would recommend that you be a friend of animals. Be a friend to animals. You don't have to like all animals, but you have to like something, cats or dogs or something, big dogs or little dogs or something. And I recommend that you get started right now. Get a 5-star review right now. You can do it in your own city. It's not because you have to locally house sit before you can house sit abroad. It's because it's easier to get booked. It's easier for people to trust a stranger who's local. If your profile is blank, you have some references that say you're a great person and you have a profile filled out, but you don't have any reviews on the site, it's easier to trust you if you're right there, if you're local. And then that local person's review carries you to getting the international review, international booking, international house sit. All right. I'm not saying you have to start locally. I'm saying it's much easier if you do. In a city or a house sit that's within driving distance to you, it can be a weekend. Because in the United States, most people only have the weekends to travel, right? We got 4th of July coming up, and Labor Day coming up. Yeah. So in the summertime, you'll find house sits anyway. But especially during those weekends, you'll find house sits that are close to you probably and not all that long. So you can get your feet wet, right? You can dip your toes in. You can see what it's like to house sit for someone without having to add on the pressure of going to another country or another city, right? You're still local. You still know how things operate. You still speak the language. It's nice to get that local one out of your way. Not a requirement. It's not mandatory. It just, I like to do the easiest way, and that's the easiest way. Once you get a 5-star review, the world is opened up to you, right? People all over the world will review you to be their house sitter if you apply in time, quickly. Apply quickly. People all over the world. Okay. Donna. Hey, Donna. I got a great local review for the one I did with my daughter. Good. This summer, I plan to do a sit by myself, probably 1 or 2 dogs or some other small creatures. Yeah. People have fish. People have, I always forget the hedgehogs. I applied for a house. I'll never forget that. I applied for a house sit with a little tiny hedgehog. I was like, please, but they didn't take me. Her mom instead was like, girl, what are you talking about? Just bring it over here. I'll take care of it while you're gone. um, have you ever house sat and was surprised it was a child sit? No. You mean people just leaving their kids in the house? Never. No. No, indeed. Who nobody would do that. Yeah. But whatever, whatever. I've seen house sits. I saw that house sit in Hawaii, which was the only animal they wanted you to take care of was the koi pond in the yard. No animal in the house. Just make sure the koi fish don't die. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Sometimes you see house sits in Hawaii that are terrible because a lot of white people move to Hawaii and cannot afford to live in Hawaii, right? You see house sits in Hawaii, and I'm like, this looks like a condemned building. Why are you living like this? Okay, so just because it's Hawaii doesn't mean it's beautiful. But I've seen some beautiful. I saw that one house in Hawaii. It was beautiful, and they had no pets, right? It was for weeks. It was a long one. All they wanted you to do was keep the koi fish alive, right? You'll find stuff like that. You have to be prepared. How to be prepared to get an A+ house sit, right? What the kids call S tier. Okay, you have to be prepared in order to get an S tier house sit. For me, S tier means they have a pool or a hot tub, private. They have a housekeeper, and the pet requires minimal effort. If there's even a pet, it requires minimal effort, like a cat or a lazy dog. I like a lazy dog who's like, listen, I will go out in the backyard. You can go for a walk if you want. I pee it and poop in the backyard. I would call those S tier house sits. In a location that you want to be in also makes it S tier. Is it a place you already want it to be? Whether you already want to experience. The thing that makes a house sit an S tier, the thing that gets you eligible to book an S tier house sit is you need to apply for that house sit in minutes, which means you need to have your alerts. You need to have your trusted house sitters membership all the way set up, and you have to have alerts turned on for what you want. And it means you need to have an amazing review already, a 5-star review already. That helps put you, that's it. Right? With my letter, my pitch email template, that's how you book an S tier house sit. I've had probably 10 S tier house sits in my life where I'm like, if these people never come back, we're good. Okay. You and me, Meadow, the dog, me and Meadow are good here. If they never come home, I live here now. I've had probably 10 of those. Right? We get in the pool every day. I cook in the kitchen or get food delivered. House is beautiful. Housekeeper's coming. The dog walker's coming. S tier. Listen, I hope y'all have a safe and enjoyable time. But if you don't, I got it from here. I got it from here. Have owners ever stated that guests will be there during your house sit? Yeah, so these are human people. You have to communicate that. You have to ask them ahead of time who's coming, right? So I told you I had the lady who had work being done on her patio. In one of my favorite house sits ever in Tampa, Florida, the sister came 2 different times. The sister came to pick up some packages because that lady had packages delivered from Nordstrom daily. I've never seen anything like it. I've seen a lot of Amazon packages delivered, and I've gotten a lot of packages delivered. That lady had Nordstrom packages coming daily, like daily. They were gone for the summer. They were gone for, I think I was in that house for 7 or 8 weeks. Every day, Nordstrom deliveries. What are you doing on this vacation? She was on her vacation, just shopping. And she called me up one day. My sister's coming. I would take a picture of the package when I brought it in. They said just put it on the dining room table. That table was covered. I would bring the package in, take pictures of the package, send it to the homeowners, to the clients. And she was like, okay, for this one that came today and this one that came yesterday, my sister's coming to get them. Okay, no problem. I don't remember having to be there. I don't think I was there. If I was there, I was like in the pool or something. I don't think I ever saw her. And then the that was the best friend. That wasn't the sister. That was the best friend. And then the sister came and got one of the cars. My sister's coming. She's going to pick up one of the cars. She knows where the key is. Let her in the house. She'll get the key. She'll take the car out of the garage. Right? Sure. So sometimes people are coming. You have to ask them that question and be okay with it. If you're not okay with it, you don't book the house sit, right? Now, this one, I don't think they knew people were going to be coming. And then, a third time, the grandparent, like the parents came because there was a hurricane coming. By the time it got to us, of course, it was a tropical storm, but there was a hurricane coming. So they came. They just came to check. I don't remember anything really happening. They came to check on things beforehand. I had already moved the backyard furniture up onto the covered porch. I remember them being in the house. I remember seeing them because I thought the woman I was house sitting for a husband, wife, and 3 or 4 kids, right? And the wife was brown. Her sister came. Her sister was plain white. And so I assumed when I met the mom and dad, the mom was going to be white and the dad was going to be something. But when I met them, they were both white. So I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know how that works. So I remember seeing the parents and looking at the parents, and the dad had the sister's little face, funny face. The dad had the sister's face. So that was her dad, but I assume not the client's dad. Yeah, people were up and in and out of that house, but listen, I would be too. Even the best friend, when the best friend came to get the packages, she was like, listen, the best friend was black. The woman was something, brown or something. The best friend was black. And she was like, girl, listen, I told them, you should have just called me. I would have stayed here and house sat for y'all. I'm like, I know. Listen, this house is amazing. I know. She was like, girl. But they actually contacted me again. It just time didn't work. Things didn't work out. And I referred them to someone. I sent them somebody's name. It just didn't work for the next house sits. Guests who are tourists? What do you mean? No, so this isn't like, no, it's just like they had to stop in to do XYZ. And that's the only time I can really name that. Other times it's been a dog walker. The house in Brighton with the dog who wore sweaters. She was like a therapy dog, I think. She had a dog walker. The dog walker would come and get her. I would walk her, and the dog walker would come and get her. And then the house in Nana's house in Lake Chapala, in Ajijic or Lake Chapala, Mexico. She had a dog walker who would come. Not too much in and out. There's not too much in and out. You do want to ask the question because you never know how people live, but there's not too much in and out. LT says she's seen house sits where the homeowner says some people will be staying in the house in a different part, like a basement apartment. Okay, so I did have the one time in Southern Cal. No, that was San Francisco. One time in San Francisco, the husband who was Mr. CEO, he was a CEO. He was important. The whole family went on vacation, and then he came back, and so that he could go to work every day. But I stayed. I was the house sitter, right? He was there, and I was there. So I have had that. It wasn't weird because they had told me ahead of time, and he was hard. He was never home, and he didn't seem to know nothing about the dog. This is a family where the wife was like walking me around things before they left, and she was like, sometimes once a week I brush the dog's teeth. And he was like, you do? And then she was like, if he gets an upset stomach, he eats really fast. He eats too fast. So I put his food in this special dish so he'll eat slower. And he was like, oh, that's what that's for? And then she was like, and if he eats too fast and he throws up his food, I sometimes for the next meal, I sometimes just give him rice and whatever, something, white rice and whatever and something. And he was like, "You do?" He didn't know nothing about that dog. He was clueless. He didn't know. So I was like, listen, you need a house sitter. Even if you're back here, you need a house sitter. And then the night that he came back, they lived in a really nice part of San Francisco. So he was walking to a restaurant while I was walking the dog. I was walking back and we crossed each other on the sidewalk, and it took forever for the dog to realize that this was her human. I was like, this dog don't know this man. And he was a CEO for a company that makes um like robotic parts for humans, things, the kind of parts that help humans who have had some sort of, hey Themis, that help humans who have some sort of like paralyzed people. You know, you ever seen a paralyzed person wear that like exoskeleton suit so they can walk? He was the CEO of that kind of company, and he was never home. Like, he came back from that vacation, and even though he was home in the house, I didn't see him. Right? He was gone from sun up to sundown. So after saying there's never people in the house, I have had quite a few experiences, I guess, with people being in the house, but never a surprise. It's never a surprise. It should never be a surprise. That's why you ask. That's one of the questions I always ask ahead of time. When I do ask, they're like, no. If there's nobody coming, no, why would you ask that? But it's because quite a few times somebody's there. Quite a few, not quite a few. I've named 3 times out of what, 30, 40, 50, 60 house sits. Yeah, that's what I said. Kat said he gets a pass for doing important work. That's what I said. That's why I explained what he does for work, because that's how I was like, well, he's not a loser. He's not a loser husband. Everything she told me, he was like, you do? Like, do we even live here? Do you even live here, sir? How do you know? He ain't know nothing. He ain't know nothing about that house, about the dog, the door. They had the sliding back door to the deck, and something about something. I don't know. He was like, oh, he ain't know nothing. He was getting a tour of the house just like I was. That's why I told you what he does for work, because he did important work. I looked him up. Sometimes I rarely look him up, but I think I've looked up 3 clients total. I looked him up, and he did important stuff. Yes, Empress Wanderlust. You get vibes. I believe in, letting your intuition guide you. The times that I've turned down house sits, it's often that I feel like this person's going to be contacting me every 20 minutes asking me a question after they leave. One man, he told me about what the dog eats. It was a beautiful London house. Beautiful London house. Like, what's that area called? I'm not gonna remember it. That area of London that you've heard of. It's beautiful. And he was like, I make her meals. I cook her food on the stove, right? I'm down with that, right? I don't like to cook my own food, but I will gladly cook for a dog. I'll do it. I've cooked for cats, right? I'll do it. Pets nowadays don't eat dry dog food. I can't remember the last time I had a pet sit where the dog just ate dry dog food. That's so 1990. They're over that now. Kensington. It was Kensington. Hey, Christian. It was Kensington, not Notting Hill. And I was like, I want to be there. I want that house sit. But he was like, after I agreed to the house sit and agreed to the cooking of the things, no, I hadn't agreed to the house sit because I wouldn't do that. I had agreed to the cooking of the things, and we had had our conversation. Before he would, before he would confirm me, he wanted to remind me of X, and I'd be like, yes, that's fine. And then Y, yes, that's fine. And then Z, I'm like, dude, he just either confirm me or I'm not available. So finally, I'm like, unfortunately, whatever, what's a British name? Albie. Unfortunately, Albie, I'm no longer available for these dates because instead of just being like, here are the requirements and can you do these things? And I say yes. And then he confirms me. He was like, I just want to remind you, I just want to make sure that you're agreeing to not cook meat. I couldn't cook pork or there was some food I couldn't cook in his house. Fine. Every now and then you see that, especially with vegetarians and vegans. They don't want meat in their pots. I don't apply because I eat bacon on the regular. Right. But I'm like, okay, I won't cook the this and I won't do the that and I'll cook for the dog and I won't do that. But there's too many remindings without a confirmation. So I just removed myself. Just removed myself. Go away, famous. Go away. Go away. Yeah, I don't need a micromanaging house sitting client. You on vacation? Go out and live your life. That I had a feeling that he would contact me every hour, and I don't like to look at my phone every hour. I don't be on my phone. I'm not doing that. I'm not replying to your messages. As a house sitting client, you have to be a person who replies to messages and keeps in contact with people, which is the hardest part. It's the hardest part for me because I'm like, I'm not reading my messages every day. But yeah, you get a vibe for people. That's why that conversation is good. I like to talk to them on the Zoom. I like to Zoom with them before I uh, agree to house sit, just so I can get a feeling for them. Even though they're going to love me, right? I'm a great house sitter. I have great reviews. They're going to say yes to me if we get on a Zoom call. But sometimes I want to make sure I want to house sit for them. Yeah. Do I have a base home? Not yet, but any day now I will here in Bogota, which is why I'm like, let me move into this co-living house. You probably hear a phone ringing. Let me move into this co-living house instead of living in my own Airbnb. Let me share because these expenses are about to pile up. In a lot of places, your rental apartment doesn't come with the things we're used to them coming with in the United States. I have to buy my own refrigerator. In Costa Rica, I saw kitchens where you had to put your own countertops. I saw some units in Costa Rica where you had to BYOC, bring your own countertops. Here, I need to put in a refrigerator, a washer dryer. There's no dishwasher, but I can go without a dishwasher for a couple of months. So I think right away I need to pay for the refrigerator, the washer and dryer. And then within a couple of months, I'll put in the dishwasher. The stove and oven are old. It's the separate units, the stove and then the oven in the wall unit oven. They're old. And so I'm prepared to have to replace the oven as well. No, it's here. I'm in a house for the first time in a long time. I'm in a house and there's a phone here for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know who'd be calling here in 2025. Who uses the house phone number in 2025? But that's it. It rings like 4 or 5 times a day. The owner of the home he lives here with us in the co-living house. He lives here. So I don't know if these are legitimate phone calls or just like auto dialer trash phone calls. I just ignore it either way. But it's annoying to hear a phone in the house after not having heard a phone in the house for years. My parents don't even have a house phone anymore, right? Like, who calls a house phone in 2025? And he's probably in his 30s. So I don't know if they're real. I don't know. I don't know. You have a house phone? Do you? Who calls it? Is it ever anybody you want to talk to? Or is it always just telemarketers and people talking about your car insurance, car warranty? Spam. It's all spam. I'm convinced it's all spam. Okay. All right. Where are we on time? It's go time. It's go time. I got to eat some breakfast and then get on with my work day. Did we wrap up house sitting? I feel like we did. We talked about you being able to house sit, whether you're a solo person or you have family or friends that you want to house sit with. We talked about getting started locally so you get that 5-star review. We talked a lot about Trusted House Sitters as a platform and how it gives you free accommodation. Let me link to Trusted House Sitters again. We talked about my letter being a very good pitch email template. You're going to use this as a template. You're not going to just copy and paste the letter because it's not going to make sense. And then when they meet you, they're going to be like, she don't sound like the same person who sent that letter, right? You need to change it, make it sound like you. If you never say, oh my gosh, your pet is so adorable, then that letter is not going to work for you. But it is a template. So there is your template in the new House Sitter Toolkit for the letter. And we talked about you being a friend to animals. House sitting works best, especially back-to-back international house sitting. It works best if you are a friend to animals. Yes, there are house sits that are not pet sits. If you go to Trusted House Sitters right now, you'll see house sits that aren't pet sits, right? There are some with no pets. But if we're talking you want to leave the United States, house sit for a good chunk of time, it's going to work best for someone who is a friend to animals. Doesn't have to be all animals, but you have to like something, cats or dogs or backyard chickens or something. Because that's where the house sits reside. We talked about you getting free accommodation, but not pay through Trusted House Sitters. We talked about you having to pay for your own transportation. You get yourself to the house sit, although they might come pick you up at the airport or train station, but they may not. I feel like we covered it. My new House Sitter Toolkit is helpful. That letter inside of my new House Sitter Toolkit is helpful. If you're looking at the price of a membership to Trusted House Sitters, you need to also look at the calendar. Do you have dates to house sit? If you don't have any dates on your calendar where you could house sit, then it's probably not worth the money. But if you have a weekend or a week on your calendar when you're like, this is when I would like to house sit, or several weekends, you're going to get your money's worth. You're going to get your money back. Okay? It's worth it. Okay, as a person who will be paying rent sometime soon, it's worth it. Amber says you want to be great with plants. I don't know that that's the case. Just follow their instructions, right? If you know that plants make you nervous, right? If you know you don't have a green thumb, you have a brown thumb, just follow their instructions with the plants. You don't have to know what to do with plants inside of their home. They'll tell you what to do. Everybody who's had an orchid that I've house sat for, that orchid has died while we were house sitting. And I've taken a picture and said, I'm sorry, your orchid is dead. And they'd be like, girl, I just got that orchid because that last one died. Okay. That's what they do. I don't know that I don't know. I think being great with plants is not a requirement unless they say it in their listing. And even if they say it in their listing, you're really just going to follow their directions. You're just going to follow their directions. Do what they tell you to do. Hi, everyone. Hi, Brisa. Should we have several $1,000s saved up to travel and house sit? If you have money coming in because you work remotely, even a little bit, right? Or because you get a veteran's disability check or something, right? If you have money coming in a little bit and you want to house sit to travel, I'd say you want an extra couple months money. I don't think you need thousands and thousands, but a couple extra months, right? In case the house sit falls through and you need to book an Airbnb here and there. You'd like to have enough money to live a couple months, but not crazy money. Now, if you don't have any money coming in and you want to house sit full time, several thousand. I went to Mexico for 6 months. I had $3,000 only, and I house sat mostly in the same town, 2 towns in Mexico. But the bus ride was $20, about $20 to get from one town to the other on the bus, on the like their version of Greyhound. Primera Plus is what it's called, the bus I took. So several thousand, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. If you if you're going to a place where you can eat, it depends on the cost of living, I guess, in the place you're going. $2,000 in London is like 2 months of food only. Okay. $2,000 in Mexico is more months of food. So it depends on where you're going to be house sitting. I wish I could give you a firm calculation. If you don't have any money coming in, which is what we'll assume, if you don't have any money coming in and you want to be house sitting for 3 months, let's say, you just need to know that you can afford to eat for 3 months. And you can afford an emergency hotel stay if you need to. If you get the premium, so here's, see the thing that says do not pay for premium. They do reimburse you. They don't give you the hotel, but they reimburse you. If you're on if you're on a house sit away from home and it falls through, like the house sit falls through and you need to stay in a hotel, they reimburse you. So you do want enough money. So I have premium. I paid for my last membership. This is the first time in quite a while that I've paid for a membership in Trusted House Sitters because I forgot I have those free months, whatever. In the beginning, they used to give me free months instead of cash money for referral bonus. But somehow I forgot. I messed it up. So I ended up paying for my own. I paid for my last Trusted House Sitters membership in 2025. I paid for it. And I paid for premium because sit cancellation insurance is real. If the house sit is canceled and you need to stay in a hotel, they'll reimburse you. So you want enough money to be able to pay for that kind of stuff, which I don't mind putting on a credit card if I'm going to be reimbursed. But that's a comfort level thing. It depends on your comfort level. I wish I could give you a calculation, but I would just say you want to be able to feed yourself in that place. You want to be able to have fun in that place and get as much transportation as you need. Most places are more walkable than we think. So I don't know. I don't know. When I knew I wanted to be in Mexico for 6 months because my U.S. passport would let me be there for 6 months, I felt fine with $3,000. Now that was before the pandemic, and all the prices have gone up since the pandemic. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a calculation. You need to know how much money you would feel safe with, and I don't know if you know that if you've never done this before. You just want to make sure that you can eat and that you can, if you have an emergency, you can pay for a place to stay in the meantime, or like a gap, not an emergency, a gap in house sits. You can pay for a place to stay in the meantime. I did a video on gig jobs for people who are all over the world, for nomads, gig jobs for nomads. And we talked about tutoring people in English online, right? So you want to make sure that if you're not going to be working, you're going to be house sitting and not making income, and your savings is all you have. I think it would be nice to have another way to make some money, right? Know that there's a platform you can sign on to and make some money. So maybe make sure that you have some sort of gig job that you can do internationally, like tutoring people in English online with something like Cambly. Yeah, I pay for the premium. Listen, you gonna give me some sick cancellation insurance. To me, I don't understand the middle. I don't see the value in the middle level. If you're house sitting locally, you don't need premium because sit cancellation insurance is not helpful. If a sit is canceled, you're just gonna go home, right? If you're house sitting locally, you don't need the premium. But if you're going to be house sitting around the world, premium. That's sit cancellation insurance. Okay. If they cancel a house sit on you, London is expensive. Okay. You're going to want that. Yeah. I didn't think about what would happen. Yeah. So my cancellation plans, I have 4 things. If a sit is canceled, number 1, can I book another house sit right away during those same dates? In London, yes, that's in busy places, London, San Francisco, New York area, around New York, including, the busy places, yes, you can just book another house sit, friend. Can I afford my own place to stay? Can I stay with them anyway? Sometimes you can just stay with them. They'll cancel a house sit, but they have a guest room or whatever. You can just stay with them. I've done that. Okay. I know it sounds weird, but I've done that. And then the fourth, can I, if the sit is canceled and this city is too expensive for me to stay in, can I go someplace cheaper? With knowing that sit cancellation insurance is going to reimburse you. Okay. Okay, I have a house sitting fund. Hi, Loranda. I have a house sitting fund I put money into specifically for unexpected house sitting expenses, like high food costs, like the Bay Area. Girl, the first time I went to the Bay Area, I was like, I guess I'm gonna starve. I'm not paying these prices. I can't pay these prices. I like yogurt for breakfast. I want instant coffee and yogurt. My tastes aren't highfalutin, right? Bacon. I was like, no, I won't. I can't eat here. I can't afford to eat here. Okay. Raven, it sounds like anyone tentatively scheduling a house sit should plan a backup hotel. I can't read this. No. So I don't think you need any more plan than if this sit gets canceled, I'm going to need to go to a hotel and get reimbursed through sit cancellation insurance. I don't know that you need any more of a plan than that. I'm saying that's my thing. Can I stay with them? Can I book another house sit? Right? If it's weeks, if it was an 8-week house sit, it's probably cheaper to go to Mexico than stay in London. Cheaper to go to southern Spain than stay in London. I'm saying that's my plan. But if you have sit cancellation insurance, I don't know that you need to do much prep for a cancellation. If it gets canceled, holler at Trusted House Sitters about how to access your sit cancellation insurance and go from there. And then sometimes they'll say, do you want to stay here anyway? Right? I don't know that you need a whole lot of plan for it. I'm telling you that those are the things that I run through. But if you have the cancellation insurance, so remember that I started house sitting in 2017 or 2018 before that existed, right? Before that existed on Trusted House Sitters. If a sit was canceled, you're on your own. Understand that, okay? Auntie is talking about the old days, okay? Yolanda saying she was pet sitting full time for a year and a half. She would budget $500 a month for possible lodging incidentals. Okay, $500 a month for possible lodging. So have $500. You don't need it every month if you don't use it, but you need to have $500 for incidentals for lodging, is what Yolanda's saying. Depends on where you are, what things cost. Right? So a couple of you have mentioned the car. If they're giving you the car and you're going to drive the car, one of the reasons in the UK, I never touched that car. One of the reasons is because I didn't need to, right? But also because I'm not paying these European gas prices, right? They had 2 little dachshunds and they were like, if you want to go anywhere, I'm like, I would like to leave the house because those dachshunds were rowdy, but I'm not paying these gas prices. So forget it. The car stayed right where it was. All right. Can you grocery shopping? Do you go grocery shopping? Or are you talking about going to a restaurant? Whatever you like. You do whatever you like. If you like to grocery shop and cook, do that. You're living in that city just like you live in that city. Like you do what you want. Yeah, on sits rarely get canceled. I believe I remember 2 offhand. So I'm going to say I've had 3 canceled. I remember 2 offhand. The lady in California whose husband broke his leg, and the lady in San Miguel de Allende, Mexico, who still let me stay at the house. So I remember 2. So I'm going to say 3, and I've done at least 50. I know I've changed the number. I think it's 60. I think I'm at 60 house sits, but I'm going to say 50. 3 out of 50. 2. It's really 2 out of 50. Okay. Yeah, they rarely get canceled. Them dachshunds were awful. They chewed up my microphone. They chewed up something that I really loved too. Some little thing I had that I loved. They were awful. I mean, awful in terms of two little dogs, where all I had to do was put them behind a baby gate and leave the room. But when they were in the room, I'm like, why are y'all so high energy? I had a dachshund. She was not like this. Chewed up my little microphone and chewed up something that I really liked. I don't know if it was a keychain or something. Okay, friends, thank you very much for hanging out. Thank you for asking your questions about house sitting. Thank you for answering questions about house sitting. Those of you who have done house sitting, quite a few women here have done some house sitting or are house sitting right now. So I love to see Black women out using this to our advantage. I can understand why you would want to leave the United States of America. Please, okay? I understand why you would want to leave the United States of America. I happen to have left in 2015, but I understand why you are leaving now. And house sitting can be part of that plan. Let house sitting be part of that plan. If you're a friend of animals, go ahead and get out there and see the world with free accommodation by being a house sitter and pet sitter. Don't forget the link to Trusted House Sitters is here and in the description. The link to my new house sitter toolkit, which includes my letter template, is here and in the description. And the link to the Exodus Summit community is here and in the description. The Exodus Summit Facebook community is for Black women who are interested in leaving the country, sabbatical or career break or bopping around or moving abroad. We'll be getting off of Facebook soon. If you're on Facebook, go ahead and join us there. And then we'll be getting off of Facebook soon and going to a different platform. If you're not on Facebook and you want to make sure that you hear about the new platform and you don't want to miss it, sign up for our newsletter at exodussummit.com/newsletter so you don't miss the news when we move off of Facebook. Okay, friends. Also, I guess I should have told you that House Sitter School is included. My House Sitter School is included in the Exodus ASAP membership. Exodus ASAP is our paid community for Black women who are ready to get their peace out protocol together, for Black women who are ready to move, ready to make the plans to move. If you join the Exodus ASAP membership, House Sitter School is included. My course is included. In June, we're working on decluttering. We've been decluttering all month. I just did a coaching session on decluttering your destinations. So if you keep adding new places to your list, every time you hear somebody talk about a place, you add it to your list of places you want to move to. You probably want to watch the replay of the session I just did on Thursday inside of the Exodus ASAP membership on decluttering your destinations. We are talking actual physical decluttering and doing actual physical decluttering in sessions together all June long. And then in July, we're doing the Get Your Next 3 Clients Challenge. If you need to make money in your business, whether your business is already up and running or it doesn't even exist yet, okay? If you need to start making some money as a freelancer, a consultant, a coach, a something, if you need to start making some money, join us inside of the Exodus ASAP membership, where in July, we are doing the Get Your Next 3 Clients Challenge. The Get Your Next 3 Clients Challenge is 6 days of focused time where you get coaching from me and Rashida on how to make money in your business without the fluffy stuff, without the unnecessary stuff, all right? One thing I'm gonna do is as little as possible, okay? So if you wanna learn how to make some money in your business while doing as little as possible, I think I need to close my window because I've had 2 different things flying into my face. If you need to make some money doing as little as possible, but using the skill set that you already have, join us inside of the Exodus ASAP membership, because July is Get Your Next 3 Clients Challenge. We're doing the Get Your Next 3 Clients Challenge next month. Okay. All right, I gotta go eat some breakfast, and Rashida and I are recording some videos today with some friends, some surprise videos to come soon. So I'm gonna eat some breakfast and get ready for all of that. I hope you have a wonderful Saturday, a wonderful weekend. I know that in the United States, things are bad, okay? I know that things are bad, but you don't have to, although, what is the scripture? Although we stumble. We don't have to fall, right? We don't have to be utterly cast down because you have a plan, a strategy. The people who are going to handle this the best are the people who are actively making a plan to leave the country. Okay? The Black people who are safest, Black Americans who are safest during this time are Black Americans who are not in America. Okay? And so, if you're feeling worried is not strong enough, how are you feeling? What is the word? If you're feeling worried, know that there are options, there are alternatives. And I recommend you leave, okay? I recommend you start planning that right away. Instead of considering it a thing that would be nice, right? A thing that, it must be nice for them. It can work for you. Every person, there's someone who has left the country with your circumstances. Feeling trepidation, feeling dismayed. Thank you, friends. I know that being in the middle of things can make it seem like it's hopeless or there's no solution and things are going bad and it's just things are going down and it is what it is. But it's not what it is. It is what you decide you want. It is what you make. It is what you do. It's not what it is. It's what you do. It is what it is for people who have given up and surrendered. You're not here because you're one of those people. Make a plan. Execute the plan. Live your life in a city that you love, in a place that you're excited to be in, with neighbors that you really want to deal with and be in community with, instead of people you have to buffer yourself from, instead of policies and systems you have to buffer yourself from and organize against. The things that people are marching in the streets for today exist in other places. It's white people's responsibility to fix what they've done in the United States. It's not Black women's responsibility to fix any of it. They did it. Let them fix it or sink. You can live the life that you want, the life that you want to go out and protest and march for. You can just pick up and live that life somewhere else. The things that people are out marching against today are things that you could just go and live with somewhere else. Women have bodily autonomy here in Colombia. Abortion is legal and accessible up to 24 weeks in Colombia, which even surprised me because some Catholic countries are really funny about stuff like that. Right? Education is low cost. There's universal health care. It's a universal health insurance system based on income. But there's universal health care in Colombia, right? The things that you wish the United States would get right, other countries have gotten right. And you can live there. Okay? Do I need a maid? I do. I do. But you don't want to be my housekeeper because you don't want to get the Columbia pay, girl. The things that you want. I'm going to say this 14 times. I need to go. I really have to go. I have to work and I got to eat and all of this. I got to go. But I don't want to leave this video without this sinking in. With Martin Luther King, he agrees with me. Okay? I'm in a co-living house and these pictures were here before I got here. Martin Luther King agrees with me. I mean, I think he would agree with me that, you know what? There was a valiant effort made by Black people to make the United States an actual good place. Valiant effort. We did all we could. But we are not responsible to clean up their messes. We're not responsible to make them human. We're not responsible to teach them humanity and empathy, decency. People with humanity and empathy and decency are all over the world. You can just go live with them. We tried. It failed. It failed. There are a lot of people in the world who have a vested interest in making and propping this up, in propping up the United States. Because if our civil rights movement fails, what does that mean for their civil rights movements all over the world? I feel for people, right? But not all people have to live, not all civil rights movements are pushing up against the type of people that white American people are. Right? So a civil rights movement in Ireland is going to look different because those people have not gained the world has not sold their souls to gain the world. They're not soulless people. So a civil rights movement in Ireland may have more success than in the United States. A civil rights movement, right? We saw the Arab Spring not too long ago, inspired by and informed by the US civil rights movement. Our civil rights movement, it rippled throughout the world. It failed though. And it's time to go someplace where you can live among people with souls, where you can live among decent people. We tried. We tried, even when they didn't want it. It's not what they wanted. It's not what they wanted. We did everything. Okay. And we got one Black president, and they were like, F this. We would rather burn the country down than go in this direction. I said on Themis' channel last night, these people, they failed an open book test. We don't have to help them. What more can we do for them? The election was an open book test. We already know the results. You already know what's going to happen. This person was already president before. You already know what they want to do. Him and his squad. You know what they want. And you still failed the test. And now you want us to come and do some tutoring? No, indeed. No, indeed. We did what we could do over and over and over and over for generations. Themis said yesterday on his channel, all they had to do was follow us. All they had to do was follow us. Right? Black people, all you had to do was vote like Black people told you to vote. Instead, they chose what's happening today. They chose this. Let them live with their consequences. Let you live with peace. Let you live with harmony. Let you live with good people. Let you live with good food, good weather, good health care. Go get that stuff. Go get it. Right? My health insurance lady was like, girl, for Colombia, you're too fat for us to insure. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that on the internet. You're too fat for us to insure you. You need to lose 7 kilograms for us to insure you in Colombia. I'm like, I'll do whatever it takes. Because listen, I'm getting me this healthcare. I'm getting this Colombian healthcare. Okay. I don't think I was supposed to say that on the internet. It wasn't an interview. Themis's channel is Let me link to his. Well, I don't know. Themis, do you want? I don't know if y'all want to link to Themis. If you look him up, Themis, you can look up his channel. I wasn't on his channel. I was in the chat. He talks about a variety of things. So you may not. I don't want to. Y'all go. You decide. Okay. But yesterday he talked, among other things yesterday, he does really long live streams on Fridays, which I like to hang out with on. And yesterday, this is one of the conversations we had, THEMIS. But I'm fine with fat. I'm fine with fat. Fat. So we talked about me being fat the other day. Fat doesn't mean anything. I'm tall, I'm fat, I'm black, I'm a woman, right? None of those mean anything about me as a person. If you feel any way about the word fat, that's a you problem. I have brown eyes, almost black. Sometimes I put that my eyes are black on things, but my eyes are very dark brown. I have brown eyes, right? If you're okay with me saying I have brown eyes, then you should be okay with me saying I'm fat. It's just a description. I'm tall. It's just a description, right? Fat is just a word. It doesn't mean anything about me as a person. Now, some people treat fat people poorly, but that's not the problem with the word fat. That's the problem with the word treatment. Yeah. Okay. So I really hope, yeah, Yolanda is in Spain. Her healthcare premium is 1,200 euros for the year. That is about $1,400 for the year. Mine is about $1,800 for the year in Colombia. And I got the middle. There was a cheaper one, a less expensive one. I think it was around $1,400. The things, I know I got to go, okay? But the things that people are willing to sacrifice their lives in order to fight for in the United States, they could just pick up their feet and have those things somewhere else. Black people have no business sacrificing our lives or even our livelihoods or our peace or our joy. We have no business sacrificing to make white people better people. They don't have it to give. American white people have gained the world and sold their souls. And there's no amount of talking, working, walking, convincing that can undo what they've done. Let them live with their consequences. Let you live with peace. Okay? Thank you. The policy that I got, one of the reasons I'm paying that amount is because my policy in Colombia covers me around the world for travel, but not to live, right? There are travel nomad insurance policies. Mine covers me for, I think, 60 days at a time abroad from Colombia, abroad from Colombia. Okay. So not some of you, this is false. This is another falsehood. This is a lie. Okay. Black women voted for Kamala Harris at, was it 92%? That's a lie. It's not Black women's fault. You're in the wrong place if you're here to blame Black women for what's happening. You're in the wrong place if you're here to blame Black people. All people had to do was follow us. All they had to do. Even I, who did not want to vote for a warmonger, went to Delaware and voted for Kamala Harris. I didn't want to. And even I did it. Black women are not to blame for what's happening. You're in the wrong place. Never again on this channel will we blame Black women for what's happening. White people in the United States chose this, and they're now living out the actions, the consequences of their actions. It is not Black people's fault. Never again on this channel. I will block you. Actually, let me just do it now. You've been here for years and years. You know better. Never again on this channel. It is not Black women's fault. It is not Black people's fault. Let those people live out the consequences of their actions. We did what we had to do. All they had to do was listen to us. All they had to do was let us lead them. Instead of wanting to answer, instead of wanting to listen, follow what we said to do, they chose this. They chose to collapse the motherfucking country. Let them. It's their choice. Never again. You're gone. You're gone from this channel. You've been here for years. You know better. It is not Black women's fault. And you can kiss my ass. It is not Black women's fault. Never again. Anybody else with that comment, you can go too. You can go and don't return. That's not what we do here. And you know better. I need to eat my breakfast. Let me go eat my breakfast. I think Dr. King agrees with me. This is why I tried to cover him up. I need a little disclaimer. This video does not reflect the thoughts or feelings of the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Although I think it might. I think if he were here today, I think he would have some very similar things to say. Maybe that's why I said, who does she think she is? Because these things should not be on the screen together. But no, indeed. Talk about anti-Black. Talk about being anti-Black woman. There's nothing more anti-Black woman circulating. There's a lot of anti-Black woman stuff circulating on the internet today. But the worst of it is that. Well, that's hyperbole, because the worst of it is actually, this is the worst that Black women do. The worst Black women, anti-Black woman talk. Black women should have done this and Black women should have done that. No, the fuck we should not have. We did what we needed to do. Let the white people deal with the consequences of their actions. Actions have consequences. It's absurd. Leave us alone is exactly how I feel about a lot of things at this point in my life. Leave us alone. You don't really like us. Leave us alone. Leave us alone. Was that the Delaware? I'm gonna go eat. I got a bagel. I'm having a very carb heavy day. I got a bagel. I found really good bagels and cream cheese, which is a surprise. And I got some yogurt, coffee. Oh, Colombia. I'm enjoying the coffee. Even the instant coffee. So some of the coffee makers here in the US, instant coffee is not a good thing. But here, some of the coffee makers here, they've made some progress in the instant coffee space. So I got instant coffee here. Yeah, so I'm gonna go eat. I'm gonna go eat and then get to work, Exodus Summit, recording some Exodus Summit videos with Rashida, some interviews, some conversations. So that's going to be good. Okay, y'all, please, friends, remember that on this channel, we do speak to Black women with loving kindness, but we speak to Black women who like Black women with loving kindness. If you're not a Black woman who likes and loves Black women, I don't think I have to speak to you with loving kindness. I don't think. I don't know what the Bible would. What do you think about that, Dr. King? Let me go. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining in. House Sit is for you. If you're a friend of animals, you're going to love it. Let it set you out into the world. Let house sitting be a way that you get out into the world. You can leave the United States. I'm a fan. I recommend it, and enjoy it. Okay, friends. Okay. Oh, hit the like button before you go. Wait. Hit the like button before you go. Thank you. I'm giving you a second to do that. Okay. Thank you all. Now I got to go apologize to my neighbors for yelling. I hope they're not here. We're on the 3rd floor. There's only 2 bedrooms. I got to go apologize for yelling. Oh, Jamie, 2 houses down. Congratulations. Well done. Okay. All right, friend. Have a good day. Thank you all. See you again very soon. More to share about Bogota. I hope to have a place sometime soon. I can't wait for you to see for me to get a home in Bogota and for you to see it. I can't wait to share more of that with you. It's been wonderful. I feel really, really good here in Bogota. I'm glad to be here. Okay. Now, bye. Bye.